Welcome back to Tech Life Studios, Volume 3 of this EDC Breakdown Edition situation. So, what is Volume 3? Volume 3 is all about keys. So, what we're going to do is discuss my progression on keys. Right. So, when you're young, you don't really have many keys. You get really excited when you get your first house key, a little bit of responsibility. I can't hear myself think with you clacking around, Charles. Anyways, hardwood floors, dog toenails, you know. Anywho, that first little bit of responsibility you get your first key. It's awesome. It's exciting. You're so pumped to have that responsibility, to have the key to the house. And then, as you get older, you get more keys. Keys to cars, keys to a job, keys to maybe grandma's house. I don't know. You end up with a plethora of keys. You become overcome with keys. And then before you know it, it becomes a hassle. Everything's jingling all the time and annoying, and you're trying to figure out how to get them all to condense and just be able to carry them without your pants ripping from the weight of the keys. And you know, your ignition, you're not supposed to have all that weight on the key and stuff they say. I don't know, but what was an exciting opportunity in the beginning of your life becomes a hassle later on. And it seems to be predominant for most of us that way. I know it was for me. I ended up with keys to all kinds of stuff, and I've since luckily been able to pare down a lot, but I still have a few keys. Now, growing up, you know, the one key was no big deal. You could put it on a carabiner of any size, any color of your choice, and it was no big deal. Just one key, two keys, red keys, blue keys. And geez, I humor myself so much. And that was fine. And so for a while, that was good. Then I got more keys, more keys, more keys. And what I would do personally is I would carry something like a carabiner like this, or like this, a bigger size. And I started having a magnetic, well, I would have my like truck key on the magnetic closure like this. And these are great. These actually work really well. I was really concerned about the, you know, potential to lose it, but man, if you get a good magnet like this, they're not expensive. You can find all kinds of manufacturers that make them. It never came off my pants and off my carabiner. I had it for a couple years and carried like that, and I would just pop off my truck key, start it, and then just pop it back when it was done. The only problem I had with magnets was like this, where it would attract to itself. Now you could get like a plastic polycarbonate, whatever type of carabiner where it won't do that, but any other keys you're carrying on there are going to attract as well, and it kind of gets bunched up sometimes. But magnets a great option to help separate keys quickly and stuff like that. And the fact that it somehow you know, does slightly pull other keys to it kind of keeps everything kind of together and chunks it all up, and it makes less noise. But that was only for a time. That was nice for a bit. And like most people who do the EDC thing, I experiment and try different things constantly, especially when it comes to keys, because there's just no one solution for all keys. It's just one of those hassles of life that you've got to figure out a way to combat. And now they've come up with the key fobs that are gigantic, and I mean, that to me is a step backwards. I'm trying to lessen the load, not increase it. I don't want a key the size of my wallet or the size of an old school flip phone in my pocket. And then they have these quick disconnects like this. These are great. They work fine. I used those for a while. And then for a while, I would attach a lanyard like this to my keys and then put my keys in my pocket so they didn't jingle around. And that's fine, but then your keys wear holes in your pants and your pants pockets, and then before you know, you got to put some change or a pocket knife in there, and next thing you know, it's on the ground. So I don't like that either, and nothing is worse than sitting down and your keys jabbing you in the thigh. Back in the day, they had these doohickeys, which was like a wallet. Whoops. It was like a wallet for your keys. Fantastic invention. You could carry an immense amount of keys, bottle it up, and no noise. This one was my grandfather's from probably like the 50s, and it's seen its share of life. But it was really cool. You could hold a bunch of keys, and then you could actually pull a set of keys out. You just push down and out, and then it comes out, and then if you want to put it back, it just clicks back in. There are companies that make very similar things. Some of them they promote towards like law enforcement as like a key keeper type things where it just wraps around like 3 or 4 keys, helps from the jingle, and then it clips on your belt. They make all kinds of stuff like that. I've never purchased one, but I've seen them. I've been interested in getting a nylon version of that. They seem really cool. And but I have progressed to a couple different things now, and these work best for me. Orbit Key, all those companies make key holders like this. All right, this is basically a very simple, cheap key organizer. This one's silicone, and I got all kinds of keys for locks for boats, for my truck hitch, for I don't remember what that is. Oh, it's an office building. All kinds of keys, and this holds about 4. This is a like, I want to say maybe $5 silicone knockoff Orbit key. It's called Turnkey Flex. It's very flexible. It's got a little spot where if you want to attach it to, say, a carabiner or something, you can definitely do that. That's not a problem. And this is really cool because it is a cheap version of an Orbit key, because some of these companies that make these key organizers are stupid expensive. This one I got from Walmart, like I said, for like $5, and there's nothing to it. I really like it for what it is. I just leave this in my truck because it's got all the stuff for like my truck and whatnot that I might need. And that's it. That's all I use that for. That just stays in my truck. Now, my keys that I use every single day, my most used keys, are just 2. It is my truck key and my house key. My American house key. And I know people like don't want you to see my keys because then you'll be able to make keys and get in my house. If you go through all that trouble to make a duplicate key off of a video and get in my house, then you have earned the bullet that I'm going to give you. So do that. But yeah, so the only 2 keys I use on the regular are my house key and my truck key. Everything else is in this little key organizer that stays in my truck or in my house. And then I also have a Olight i1R2 EOS, which is I've talked about in my EDC video. It's one of the best little EDC keychain flashlights you can buy. We'll talk about that later in my flashlight video. And then just an original Swiss Army knife classic, mainly because of the tweezers and the toothpick. Come on, that's what everybody wants it for. And then my unlock lock doohickey key fobby thing. I don't know what they're called, but you know. So, and I have all of that riding on a Zac tool. This is a Zac tool ZT52 tactical keyring holder, and it fits up to a 2.25 inch belt. You can find these all day long for like, I don't know, between $5 and $15. They're super cheap and they work flawlessly every time for years and years. I have one on my duty belt for work, and I have one, which is this one, that I use all the time for my person. I keep it on my belt, and then when I need to get in my truck, I just start my truck. Get in the house, I just get in my house. And then when I'm trying to find the house knob in the dark, I just turn on my little Olight, and then voila, like, come on. So I have them all separated just because sometimes I'm gonna need my keys and sometimes I'm gonna need my light and my classic. I like to keep them all separate. It's just me, it's preference. And this works fantastic. The only thing that could be better than this, I think, is if I used this Zac tool in conjunction with one of the newfangled versions of this, or something like this, but I just don't carry enough keys and need enough keys day to day to need a giant key organizer. I would mainly want something similar to this that they make out of nylon to hold the knife light and the keys all together so that those don't jingle against each other. But it's really not that bad. They don't make a whole lot of noise, and if I'm somewhere where I need to be that tactical and not make a lot of noise, I can always just pull this off, throw some stuff in my pocket, and be on my way. So great option. If you haven't experienced the Zac Tool key holder, get one. You'll never regret it. They last forever and are cheap. So those are the best key cheap options I know of, and I hope it helps you out, and I hope you choose to go with the Zac Tool one, because that one is awesome and I love it. So thanks again for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it, and tune in for a volume of 4 of the next video. All right, stay safe.